A midlife crisis is more than just a cultural stereotype. It's a real psychological struggle that can surface between the ages of 40 and 60. Often triggered by aging, loss, or unmet expectations, it can actually lead individuals to question their identity, make impulsive choices, or abruptly abandon long term commitments. While not officially classified yet as a mental illness, the emotional and relational fallout is very real, especially for the spouses and families left behind. This podcast gives voice to those living through the aftermath, exposing the hidden pain, and seeking accountability, healing, and understanding. Thank you for joining us today on MLC Bomb Drop and Beyond. The stories and events discussed in this podcast are for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered legal, medical, or professional advice. Any names, locations, or identifying details have been changed to protect privacy. Any similarities to actual persons, living or dead, or real events are purely coincidental. The information presented on this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered as professional advice. Always consult with a qualified expert regarding any decisions related to your specific situation. The views expressed by guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the podcast creators. Hello, Bomb Squad. Welcome back to Midlife Crisis, Bomb Drop, and Beyond. I'm your host, Trina Laird, and today I'm, as we approach, this is going to be dropped on Friday the 13th in June, just a few days before Father's Day. And, as we approach Father's Day, I'm really upset with a lot of the dads out there that, really walked away from their families and children. And it just stings to think that they might be celebrated in some way. And I get it. They're in crisis. But while the world posts tributes and happy throwbacks, some of us are left staring at an empty chair, wondering how the man we built a life with could just vanish into thin air. And worse, act as if it's justified. You know what? This episode is called Fathers Who Vanish, Cowardice Disguised as Crisis. And today, we are calling it what it is, unacceptable. Let's stop pretending. You guys, walking away from your family, emotionally abandoning your children, ghosting your spouse, rewriting history, and hiding behind vague words like, "Oh, I'm not happy." That is not a midlife awakening. That is cowardice, plain and simple. It is not a spiritual journey. It is not a crisis of identity. It's a man-child running from his responsibilities while leaving destruction in his wake. And you do not get to throw a grenade into your home and then call it self-care. These men often follow the same script. They disappear emotionally. They act like children. They act like their children are disposable. And then they say they had no choice. Let me be crystal clear. A grown man who abandons his family is not brave. He is selfish. He is not finding himself. He is losing his integrity. And what does he leave behind? Shattered wives, confused children, heartbroken families, gutted. And you know what? Gutted like as if you were gutting a fish. While he goes along and plays victim in the story he created all by himself. One of the most painful parts of being in a relationship with someone going through a midlife crisis is the transformation. It often feels like a death with no funeral. And when that person is also a father, the impact multiplies. He may still live just down the road, but emotionally, he is gone. Many children say, "It's like he's a stranger now. He used to be my hero, but now he won't even answer my texts. He acts like we're the problem." The kids, the father that abandoned their family, walked out, and is with an affair partner, causes the children to feel like they're the problem. It's so confusing for them, for the partners, for the kids, for extended family, because this new version of dad often shows up cold, irritable, distant, or disappears entirely. And we tell ourselves children are resilient, and yes, they are. But that doesn't mean they're immune to abandonment, neglect, or emotional whiplash. Some kids of midlife crisis dads experience deep self-blame, like if they'd been better, maybe he would have stayed. They want to love mom, but they don't want to hate dad. They internalize anger, and they can create avoidant attachment styles. There's silent grief because their dad is alive, but not present. So Father's Day becomes a trigger. The school crafts, the cards, the commercials, they all say, celebrate dad. But what do you do when you have a dad that's gone in spirit? Can we feel empathy for the father going through a crisis without excusing the damage? Yes, we can, but it's a tightrope. Some dads in midlife crisis are drowning in depression, identity confusion, shame, guilt. But you know what? Others lash out. They rewrite history. They blame everyone else for their own emptiness. These are grown men I'm talking about. You may hear stuff like, I sacrificed everything for you guys, for this family, and I got nothing back in return. Oh, you know what? You'll understand when you're older. Those are the kind of excuses and things that kids are hearing. These are not expressions of accountability. They're projections, and they're distortions. And you know what? They are trauma passed down from an earlier generation. And as partners or as adult children, we need to stop that cycle by refusing to pretend the pain didn't happen. If your family has been touched by a midlife crisis, especially if the father stepped away and vanished, you are not alone. Here's what I want you to remember. Your grief is valid. Their absence is certainly not your fault or the children's fault. You can heal even without closure. And you don't need a normal Father's Day to honor your truth. You can celebrate a grandfather, an uncle, a stepdad, a neighbor, somebody who's helpful around the house. And with your family, you can focus on your own parenting and the cycle that you're breaking. And just simply sit with your feelings without guilt. And I get it. It's midlife crisis. But, there, uh, this is where we've got to call it like it is. You chose to have kids, act like it. Being a father is not optional once it gets uncomfortable. You don't get to take credit on Father's Day and then disappear when life gets real. These men are often praised in public, while the truth behind closed doors is ugly. They've emotionally abandoned their children. They have stopped showing up to events. They have ghosted on holidays. They have withdrawn all support, emotional, financial, and physical. Newsflash, you don't deserve a card or a tribute just because you've once helped create a child. You earn the title dad by how you show up every single day. And if you're not showing up, you have forfeited the right to be celebrated. And to you children out there, adult children, little children, toddlers, to all you kids out there grieving a father who's still alive, but not really there, we see you and we know what happened to you is not okay. It is not your fault. It's not because you weren't good enough. It's not because you didn't try hard enough. It's because your father made a selfish, cowardly choice. It was a choice, and it's a choice to walk away. And that grief is real. That abandonment leaves scars, especially when the world still calls him dad, while you only know his silence. I tell you, if you're a father who's walked away, hear me now. You can grow up and you can face what you've done, or you can stay a coward for the rest of your life. Your midlife pain, sure, that's valid. Your crisis? Sure, that's real. We see it. But your behavior is unacceptable. There might still be time for you to repair, to apologize, to reconnect, but only if you drop the excuses, own your actions, look in the mirror, and grow up. Stop hiding behind your ego. Stop pretending you were forced to leave. Start being the man your kids deserve from the very beginning. And stop asking your children to meet your affair partner. She's not their mother. She never will be. Forcing that dynamic on them only deepens their betrayal and hurt. And let me take this a step further, because it's not just the man who walks away that's the problem. It's also the people around him who pat him on the back, normalize the behavior, and say, "Oh, he deserves to be happy." Well, you know what? If I were the mother of a man who discarded his wife and children and immediately moved in with his affair partner, I would be beyond ashamed of him. I would not congratulate that. I would not celebrate that. I would call him accountable. And fortunately, I did not raise a son to act like that. And if he does, we're going to have a little talk, me and him. But you know what? Too many parents don't see things that way. Too many employers and partners turn a blind eye. Too many friends laugh it off and say, "Oh, well, he's living for himself," or whatever. There's the whole flying monkey thing. This is abandonment. And when we as a society continue to excuse it, we rot from the inside out. Until we stop accepting this behavior as normal, until we stop rewarding men for midlife betrayals, until we stop calling cowardice self-discovery, until then, we're going to keep raising generations and generations who think that disappearing when life gets hard is strength. Disappearing when they don't know what they want the rest of their life, when they wake up in a midlife crisis. That is not strength, it's weakness. And we've had enough of it. This Father's Day, we don't just honor the good dads, and we're going to do that on Sunday with a completely different episode. For the dads who burden everything when their beloved wives walk away during midlife crisis and dads are left behind. But this episode is about the dads that are cowardly and step away from their families and their children. We call out the men who vanished without explanation, and we stand with the children and partners who were discarded like they never mattered. But you guys, you do matter. For those dads, I want to say, walking away from your family is not self-care. It is cowardice. So, yes, Sunday is Father's Day, but there's a lot of dads out there that do not deserve to be celebrated. If anything, I hope they look in the mirror and take a good hard look at themselves, grow up, be a man, stop being a coward. And if you're the mom that's at home with your children and their dad has vanished, I am just so sorry. Many of us know that feeling. And, this weekend, I know it's sort of, bittersweet or horrible. But just, hug your kids even tighter. I know as a mom, because you are a woman, you can be there for them and make it amazing. So, make this weekend just great for your kids, and because they will remember that years from now, how you made it awesome for them despite whatever's going on with their dad and his disappearance and his cowardly actions. So I know you moms can do it. You can be a dad. You are being dads. So anyway, stay awesome out there, you guys. We'll see you soon. And thanks for joining us today. Thanks again, you guys, for tuning in to Midlife Crisis, Bomb Drop, and Beyond. We have reached nearly 10 1,000 downloads. We have hundreds of subscribers, if not over 1,000. You guys, forward moving spouses, you are not alone. Left behind spouses, you are not alone. Those in crisis, you are certainly not alone. This is just crazy how epidemic this has become. I have a waiting list now of people from around the world that I'm trying to get to. And if you've been through a midlife crisis or been impacted by someone else's and you want to share your story, I'd love to hear from you. Hang in there, you guys. I will get to all of you. Please reach out to me at mlcbombdrop@gmail.com and visit us on Facebook and Instagram, MLC Bombdrop. And just remember, your voice matters. Your story could be the one that helps someone else feel seen. It could help someone else feel heard. And it will help somebody else feel understood. You are not alone, no matter where you are in your journey. If the bomb was just dropped, the earthquake just happened, if you are 7 or 8 years in and you're coming out of starting to wake up and awaken to this, you are not alone. It's sad that this is epidemic, but we're here to provide support. So until next time, take care and live authentically each and every day. Thanks again, you guys.